Hey, it's me, WWE Hall of Famer from the LOD, Road Warrior Animal. And who are you?
Yeah, I gotta do this when? Now? I'm watching a match. What is now? Now is, oh, now. Yeah, thanks. Hey, this is the Pharaoh from Monty and the Pharaoh. I just want to say thank you to our subscribers as we now have hit the 10,000 plateau. Thank you to all our subscribers out there. But I'm going to ask our subscribers to take the next step for us and become a full-fledged YouTube Monty and the Pharaoh member. Yes, that's right, folks. You can check it out. We've got 3 different levels. There's free shirts. There's free autographs. There's all sorts of perks for our members. There is nothing more we enjoy than giving you this program. And to do that, we need your support, and we appreciate your support. This is Jimmy Pharaoh, and don't forget to check out Monty and the Pharaoh every Thursday from Indie Music TV and on Cablevision here locally in New York. Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh. Later. Is that good enough for you? Can I finish this? Lesnar's killing him. I'm pissed.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV, out of Ronkonkoma, Long Island. At the board, the super producer, the now famous Matty Ice. Matty, how are you, bud?
What's up? I'm doing amazing.
Are you ready for Memorial Day?
I am totally ready for this 3-day weekend.
Are you ready for rain in New York? Saturday,
yeah.
Sunday, Monday, totally washout rain.
Super excited.
Unbelievable, man. You get a break, and bam, it gets taken right away from you. That's simple. To the right is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, how are you, bud?
Well, I'm the guy who co-wrote Here Comes the Rain, so I guess it's my fault.
You might have brought
Is
it
that
up.
the forecast this weekend?
That is the forecast.
That's freaking horrendous.
Non-stop rain.
Why didn't anybody talk to the guy upstairs? Let me guess, the line was busy. All right, fine. Be that way, big
So what's
guy.
new, man? What's new on your side of the country, man? I haven't talked to you pretty much all week.
My side of the country. Nothing much. Just getting by, surviving, watching a lot of old Japanese giant monster films.
You and those monster films.
Yeah,
Come on,
War of the
already.
Gargantuas, Frankenstein
times you gonna
Conquers
watch
the
that?
World. What do you mean, how many times? That stuff is quality. Rubber monsters. What's wrong with that? I love those old films. I love 60s TV, don't you? Isn't that like one of your...
You know, one thing I was watching Addams Family.
Oh, God, I love the Addams Family.
Dude, I'm not a fan. I realize I'm just not a
What
fan
is
of
it, too
Addams
slow
Family.
and cerebral or something? You need, Lily, Lily. What do you need, the monsters? Is that your speed? Because, I understand that. Some people are monsters. Some people are Addams Family. I'm both. I get both sides.
Well,
I win.
I kind of treat my my TV like I do my wrestling, right? So if you're a Munster fan, you can't be an Addams Family
Oh my
fan,
God,
and if
this
you're an
guy.
Addams Family fan, you can't be a Munster fan. Just like you can't be a Godzilla fan and a King Kong fan. We discussed
That's
that.
just wrong. I'm a fan of both. You're crazy. Where do you get this stuff? So, like, when Shemp used to come on, you'd get pissed off.
Dude, I
want
don't,
Curly.
you know I don't watch it. That's right. I don't watch the Three
But I'm
Stooges.
using the. Don't you at
Well,
least
use,
understand the comparison?
No, I'll use this.
What?
Abbott and Costello,
Yeah.
and again, I know the fans are a little younger than we are, but the Bowery Boys.
Oh, wow.
How you like that one?
Wow, holy East Side kids.
I wonder if our guest, who will be on shortly, remember the Bowery
Randy
Boys.
might. I don't think March would, but I think Randy might.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Okay,
might.
well, we'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
Prayers to Alexa Bliss. She lost a family member this week. Larry Steve the Pig.
Larry Steve the Pig.
Did you know about Larry
Was
Steve the Pig?
Larry Steve the Pig a celebrity? I'm not aware of
She had a pig, Larry Steve,
Okay.
who died suddenly.
Interesting pet. Okay.
And pigs are cool, dude.
Okay. I can't say I've had one. You've had one?
No.
How do you know? I mean,
I almost rolled into something. You almost had me, but I didn't bite.
I was
you
setting
reeled
you
it
up.
out,
You
and you were
everything.
reeling me in. I'm not going to bite on
You're
that.
supposed to go for the joke. What's wrong with you? Yeah, but wait a minute, though. Like, you don't even want to pick up the poop with the dog. You do it, but with a pig? How
Pigs
are you?
are actually very clean animals, dude.
They
and
are?
they're very intelligent. They're highly. That's why you
I don't
really
doubt
shouldn't
that.
be eating pork. They're very high. They're
There's a book that says you better not eat pork.
Well, that is true.
At least from what I've heard.
There goes your point.
Eee.
But Alexa took off from Raw because let me ask you this:
Yeah.
do you think if you lose an animal,
Yeah.
it should be treated like losing a father, a mother, a
Whoa,
sister?
wait. Okay. Like a father, or look.
Yeah.
They're people, man. To me,
Animals.
animals. Yeah, I have just as much affection in many ways. Hell, I love my house cats more than many people I've come
Absolutely.
across. So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, of course. Of
Well,
course.
she took off from Raw, so and I mean, I give Vince props. I hope he didn't give her any shit over it.
I doubt
Here's a joke of the thing today. How about John Cena getting a whole bunch of heat for apologizing to China for calling Taiwan a country?
It's a province.
Yeah, so he made a mistake.
Taiwan's a province.
But
wait a minute, didn't John Cena go to college? I didn't even go to college, and I know Taiwan's a province.
Dude, people make mistakes.
What? Wait, let me guess. When it came to that chapter, he couldn't see it? I mean, it's a province.
How about he just had a slip? He slipped up.
Long Island's a peninsula.
You're as bad as those fucking internet trolls, bro.
No, I'm not, because I didn't go on there and go, did you want to go to college? Wait a minute.
No, what they're saying is, how dare he
Right.
apologize to China?
What?
You're an embarrassment now. The hate for Cena's coming out.
Oh, because he shouldn't have
He
apologized
should
to
not have
China.
apologized to
Well,
China.
they haven't apologized for what possibly happened in the lab sometime back, but...
Well, let's-
wait a minute.
Let's not forget that John Cena is
I don't know.
Make-A-Wish Foundation, donates. Give people got to give people a break out there.
Yeah,
Come
John's
already.
Okay, he made a simple mistake. I got that. Now that all jokes are aside, but yeah, they should go easy on the freaking guy. Give me a break.
It's a joke.
I agree.
All right, little inside information. I'm really not supposed to say anything, but I am anyway. So, ECW legend Sandman checked himself into rehab. What do you think about that, buddy? Good friend of the show.
Yeah, I can't be liking that. Did any more specifics, like substance or something?
I guess he has a little bit of a problem.
Drinking or something? Oh man.
Wait a minute. You know what? Hold on. Paul Olson now says, "What's up with John Cena being a coward and apologizing to China?"
Okay.
And then Dan Crusader says Taiwan is a country.
Really? Because China thinks it's a province. Apparently, what China thinks is all that matters.
Well, what about
According to
what
China.
about Paul Olson saying, "What's up with John Cena being a coward and apologizing to China"?
Well, maybe he feels like China hasn't.
Wait a minute, Bruce Campbell
Come
says,
up
"No,
front
Jimmy,
for a
it
lot-
is a country."
Well, I said it was what China thinks. I didn't say it's
Okay.
what I think.
Okay.
So sorry, but
All right, back on to Paul.
Oh, yeah?
Back on to Paul Olson. Back on to Paul Olson. What's up with John Cena being a coward and apologizing to China?
Well, maybe he thinks that China owes the world an apology for like those 4 plagues they've unleashed in the last 30 years. Maybe that's what he thinks. He could be one of the, because this is what I've heard some people think, and if that's what he thinks, then he's more than entitled to feel this way. It's his opinion.
It's fair enough. He has a right to his opinion.
You know,
I say
mean,
give the guy a break, though.
I don't know if John Cena is really the real issue here as far as what's going on with China. Let's worry about the deeper issues as they continue to develop with China, because China's a very interesting situation over there.
And a little older news, Buff Bagwell got arrested, I think, on like 12 counts, 20 counts. If anyone out there could correct me, that's not a problem.
Another guy I like a lot that we've seen come through these doors more than once. Sandman's a great dude, and so's Buff, from what I've seen of him. It sucks. I hope they both get through this and get better, whatever's going on with them. And then we get to see them again down the road, hopefully.
By the way, the Wisteria Hall official page says, "Nice shirt, Mike." You didn't even mention I am wearing my Wisteria Hall shirt.
There you go. I'm too busy concentrating on a show. Nice shirt.
Thank you.
There you go.
And speaking of Wisteria Hall, I would like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monty and the Pharaoh. Our own Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner Bart Griggs, make up the band Wisteria Hall. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as "In My Dreams," "This Life," "Not Far Behind," "Here Comes the Rain," You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page, and also give them a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe. You know, they could use it. Great band. Also download their music on Spotify and Apple Music and Reverb Nation. If you didn't notice, you are watching Monty and the Pharaoh, seen here only on YouTube, Facebook Live. Hear us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, Monty and the Pharaoh page, and on New York Cable, Channel 115 every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30, and for early risers, Channel 115 from 6 a.m. to 6:30, and on Fridays on Channel 20 from 2 a.m. to 2:30, where you will see the compressed.
Wow!
How do you like that?
Oh, nice! Look at you!
Mega Powers. Macho Man and Randy Hogan. We'll be right back after this commercial break with the Mega Powers as they will explode only here on Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh.
What you gonna do, brother? The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah.
Do you treat your dog as part of the family? Well, so do we. So why not celebrate your pup's birthday with the ultimate party box? Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Party Pup Info, and let us make your pup's party or any celebration perfection.
In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh, seen only here out of Indie Music TV in Long Island, New York. We are here with pro wrestling superstars, the Mega Powers. Guys, how you holding up, guys?
Yeah, doing good, man.
This is great.
Wow.
So, with this whole COVID thing, what's going on with you guys? How are you guys holding up through this whole situation?
Go ahead, Match. Tell him. Right, well, here's the deal, man. I just been working on my tan a lot. Yeah, hitting the gym and working on the tan, man. That's about it. So I'll be ready to roll once everything is good to go. Yeah.
How about you there, Randy?
Me, let me tell you, I'm at the pool, I'm on the golf course, I'm getting pretty, I'm getting my tan, being blonde and beautiful once again, baby, because me and the match, Mega Powers 2.0, you never know when you're going to see us somewhere tearing up the stratosphere one more time.
Hey, Mike, I think they're holding up pretty well during COVID. They're both at the pool getting tan and probably,
You ain't kidding.
hey, they're doing more than fine. Guys, why don't we take it one at a time, of course. Tell us how you guys got your gimmicks going. Macho, take it away first, please.
All right. Well, it all started a long time ago. Actually, I've been a Macho Man fan probably since he first arrived on the scene, and somehow I've been able to do this with my voice even at like 11 years old. I don't know how, but even before I hit puberty and before my actual voice got deep, I was able to do this. And but I do a lot of other impressions, so it kind of comes natural. And it wasn't until a little bit more recent that somebody said to me, "Man, you're so good at that. Why aren't you like using that to try to make money? You know, why aren't you an actual Macho Man impersonator?" And I thought about it and I went, "That's a really good question. Why am I not using it?" And that's basically, that's how I got started with it, man. I was just like, I could do it for fun or I could take it serious and try to make some money. And that's exactly what happened, man. I just, I put myself out there. Next thing you know, people were actually wanting to pay me. I do weddings, I do parties, I do appearances, I do it all, man. I've actually married couples before because I got ordained.
It's uncanny. I feel like we're actually talking to Randy.
He looks like him too.
This is
I can't believe how jacked up you are, Mach.
absolutely insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So wait a minute. Back to that ordained thing. Did you get ordained because of religious preferences, or did you do it as, hey, look, this would be a great gimmick to marry people as Macho Man?
I did it straight for the Macho Man thing. I never even thought about it before, man. But I thought, okay, what can I do with this Mach thing? And I started just thinking of, weddings, bachelorette parties, birthday party, everything, man. I could do everything from like, a kid's party all the way to, like a crazy bachelorette party where, Mach takes off some of his Mach attire. I haven't done that. But I'm not saying that I wouldn't for the right audience. Yeah.
Boy, that redefines
Dude, I almost
cream
want to
of the
get
crop.
remarried just to be married by Mach.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I'd like to have a bachelorette party and see what that would go on too.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Those
Okay,
are always fun.
Mr. Hogan, how do we become Randy Hogan?
Well, let me tell you, brother. I came up a different way as a wrestler. I wrestled, did the independent thing, and then this guy named Hulk Hogan started coming up the ladder. And he had a mustache like mine, had hair, blonde hair, muscled up at the time. So I'm wrestling this little bar up in some little place in northern Georgia. And the promoter, who paid me with a handshake and a hot dog, and that's a true story, said, you look like that Hulk Hogan, so we're going to call you Hal Hogan. And I said, well, I don't know. What's this Hal Hogan? How about Randy? Whatever you want. I said, okay, you're going to be Randy Hogan, and you're going to be his brother or his uncle or his nephew. I said, okay, whatever. So I went home. I bleached my mustache blonde. I bleached my hair blonde. I bleached my eyebrows blonde. Had a dark tan. Was in good shape, and it just took off from there. And then the little indies started doing the Hogan, and then I got in NWA with Jim Crockett, and then Ted Turner bought it to WCW, and I started doing it there, and I'm still doing it.
Still doing it.
Now, you guys are both real, true wrestlers, pro wrestlers. Do you feel that sometimes the gimmick is taking away from like with you, Randy, obviously you're more retired, but with both of you, do you think using that type of gimmick might have taken away from the potential of going somewhere else?
I didn't start doing the Mach thing until after my wrestling was done. I mean, I was always able to do the impression, but I never brought it into my actual wrestling. My wrestling name was Vic Divine. It was a completely different gimmick. I had a shaved head. I was real jacked.
Oh yeah.
So I never really put those two together, man, because I didn't want to be one of those, he's a savage wannabe or whatever. I was taking wrestling really serious. Years went by and injuries happened, and so now I'm not wrestling anymore. And I figured that was kind of like how I made the decision too, because I'm saying like, man, kind of lost now. What else am I really good at? What can I do? I want to do something I enjoy, and I want to do something that I'm really good at. And then when somebody put that idea in my head to do this, kind of like for a living, I said, you know what? That's it, man. I know I'm better than anybody else in the world at that. So now that I can't wrestle, I can pretend to be one.
Mr. Hogan, did you feel pigeonholed at all by your gimmick, or did you see it more as like a blessing because that's how we all know you today? Did you feel any kind of pigeonhole with the gimmick?
Yes and no. When I got up to the independent circuit, it was a plus. Everybody wanted to see Hulk's brother or cousin or whatever it was, okay? I didn't do the Hulk gimmick. I didn't have Randomania shirts and glasses and all this. I always had the hair, but I dressed in turquoise, had a black old school full-length robe sequined and everything. Still went by Randy Hogan, and that got me through the independent things. I got to WCW, and this is just before the Monday Night Wars were going on. And, of course, at this time, Hulk Hogan was a big thing. And I believe that WCW wanted to show superiority over Hogan. So I was one of the few enhancement or jobbers or whatever you want to call us that never had to change his name. I was Randy Hogan right then. What they did is they would have me get my brains beat out by guys like the Road Warriors and Abdullah and Sting and a bunch of other ones on a regular basis to show superiority. Like, this is what we do to Hogan's down here. So it was a blessing to get me on TV. But of course, that's as far as I could ever get with WCW or NWA. And I think maybe that was because of the gimmick. I was kind of pigeonholed where they wanted me to be, where I was the best for them. And, it was one of those pin me, pay me type situations.
Mach, how about your 2 years in OVW? Were you satisfied with how that ended for you? Do you feel like there was more you had to offer? Take us through that couple of years as far as your character development and where you wanted to go with OVW. Did it come to fruition at least somewhat for you over there, or no?
Well, once again, the Mach thing had nothing at all to do with with my wrestling.
Right.
So I'm down there as Vic Divine, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that I didn't even realize at the time I was being trained by Rip Rogers, and I wasn't even aware that Rip Rogers and basically Randy Savage trained Rip Rogers, along with Lanny Poffo and Angelo Poffo. That is where Rip Rogers, got his start in the ICW. But what ended up happening was I got down there in late 2005, and I had to pay my dues, man. I had been wrestling for years already, but they told me that I had to start in the beginner's class, which was, locking up, taking a bump. I'm like, all right, man, I'll jump through the hoops, man, whatever. So I think they were just testing me because that was supposed to last like 13 weeks, and after a couple weeks, they were like, do you want to go to the intermediate class? And that was Rip's class, and I'm like, yeah. So I went there, and what they did was every Wednesday night they would have their TV taping, and of course, the only people on the TV taping were the guys that were under contract. They were WWE developmentals, and Al Snow was their teacher. So Al Snow was the advanced class. Al Snow's whole class were guys that were on the payroll with WWE. I just kept on trying to get there, as quick as I can. You know what I mean? So I'm in Rip's class, but I'm not doing any TV. I'm doing some house shows. I'm showing up at all the house shows and putting up the ring and doing all that. And what they would do is they would use all the students as extras in the audience. So I just did what I was told. I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I was like, you know what? I belong in there, not out here. And I went to Danny Davis, who was the owner of OVW, and everybody was scared to talk to him, man. It was almost like the Great Oz behind the curtain, because he had his production office upstairs. And one day after the show, I went up there, knocked on the door, and I said, I introduced myself. I said, I'm not sure, we never really were formally introduced. I'm Vic Divine. I'm in the intermediate class. What would I need to do to get an opportunity to be on your TV? And he goes, he basically what he said was, bring your stuff next Wednesday. He just appreciated that I came to him and asked. Nobody else asked for that opportunity. And so there were guys that were sitting out in that audience waiting for someone to give it to them. And I said, no, man, I want it. I'm taking it. And or at least I'm going to ask for it. And so everything was going good. Then I was invited into the advanced class, and now I was training with the guys that had the contracts. So I'm down there training with them, but I'm not getting paid. But that's okay, man. I'm training with the guys that are being looked at. I'm being trained by Al Snow, who coincidentally trained the guy that trained me. Small world years later, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the end of that all came when on Wednesdays for the TV taping, once in a while the office would come down, and they would be looking and checking out to see how their talent's doing. They're on the payroll, and beforehand, like they would have a production meeting, on Wednesday afternoons, and that's when they would talk to the talent and this and that, and tell them we're going to be here tonight watching and everything. They would have like a promo day or something where it's like show show the developmental guy, the whoever was in charge at that time of the developmental system, and well, make a long story short, it was great because I was under, I was in the right place at the right time. Now I'm getting the opportunity to be seen by WWE. So the whole reason why I packed up and moved to Kentucky from New York, I packed up and went there, drove, and I'm like, wow, okay, I did it in a very short amount of time. And what happened was they made an announcement where they don't want anybody to be at the production meetings on Wednesdays that isn't WWE developmental. So they didn't want to look at anybody who wasn't under contract. Basically, when the office came there, they only wanted to see the guys that were that they were paying. And after that happened a couple times, and it wasn't changing because I thought maybe it was just a couple weeks and whatever. And it turns out that that's the way they were keeping it. Now I said, well, I moved down here to be in front of, the WWE so they can see me and I could get signed.
Right.
And now that was taken from me, and I was never able to get in front of them again. So I was there for 2 years, and when that happened, I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
There ain't no reason for me to be here. And 6 months later, the WWE lost their deal, or OVW lost their deal.
Right.
With the developmental and everything. So, if it didn't happen then, it would have happened 6 months later anyway.
Understood.
Long story, sorry.
That's a great
good,
story, brother.
All good.
Randy, first of all, we've known each other for a little over a year. I feel humbled to call you a friend, number one. So I'm so glad you were able to get back on the show. Here's one thing that I've always felt really special about you. Whenever I've seen you interviewed or I hear you discussing being in the business and being around some of these other guys, you get pretty emotional. Can you tell us what the business meant to Randy Hogan?
Well, it goes back to when I was a young boy, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. My grandparents taking me to the matches. That's how I got hooked on it. I was from Detroit, and we go to Olympia and then Cobo Hall, and I'd see people like Bobo. I'm really old. In fact, Mox, let me tell you, I'm so old, I wrestled with Angelo Poffo.
That's pretty
Wow.
Yes, I wrestled with him. So, I'd see the Sheik and Bobo Brazil and Werble Snyder, and as a young kid, the original Gorgeous George.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Pat O'Connor, Lou Thez. So anyways, I grew up as a fan, and as I told you before, to this very day, I'm still a fan. But one of the highlights was we used to go to every show for years, my grandparents and I. And when I got to be about 16 or 17 years old, and I got my driver's license and had a car, one of my proudest moments was I got to go down to Cobo Hall and I got to buy the tickets and say, Graham and Gramps, we're going to wrestling this week.
Nice.
After them doing it all those years. Very emotional. So the first time I stepped in a ring, a real live ring, to train, I got tears in my eyes because I could just feel my grandparents, and of course they were long gone in that. And it was just very emotional. So I keep going back to that all the time of what it meant to my grandparents and how they instilled the fun and the action of the sport. And of course they believed every last thing was, this guy's going to get it. We're going to go see Dick the Bruiser and he's going to wrestle the Sheik, and boy, it's going to be a bloodbath. And it was just so exciting for me as a kid, and I grew up that. And now that I'm old and
Older.
Luckily, things have turned. Well, yeah.
Older, not old.
In all honesty, this Thursday, brother, I'm going to be 70 years old.
Congratulations,
70.
Randy.
This
That is
Thursday.
friggin'
That's
awesome.
old.
Awesome.
I'm still
awesome.
pretty though. Anyways,
There you go. There you go.
you know, going to these conventions and that, I see these little kids coming up once in a while, and it puts me right back. Those little kids looking at me or looking at some of the superstars I'm surrounded by, and I'm watching the looks on these kids' face, and it's the same as me. So that emotional involvement started probably 65 years ago and carries right on to today. And I see these little kids. You know, I did a convention a couple months ago up in Rome, Georgia, and it wasn't the ones up north are really first class. This was a rural town, Rome, Georgia, working class people coming in, and the little kids, and I think it was maybe $10 admission, whatever. Little kids coming up say, "Could you autograph my arm?" Now, yeah, I'm going to charge $20 to autograph a little kid's arm. No, I'm seeing myself, you know, standing by the aisle, watching the wrestlers come in, trying to get an autograph once in a while. So, man, I signed more arms than I did pictures in that. Wonderful experience. But that's the emotional tie that I have, and I still feel for these fans, young and old.
Randy, I got to tell you, you are one of the most jovial people personally that I've come across in this business. That we've been doing this for about 4 years or so now. At this point, maybe a little bit less or
What'd
something.
you say, 4 years?
No, 2017, bro. It's going
Really?
quick.
Shit.
Yeah, it's going
That's a
quick.
long time.
And we've come across probably about 100, wrestlers over the time, and you are clearly, to me, one of the most jovial guys. You are so happy to be involved in wrestling still to this day, and it's obvious. It rubs off on other people, and honestly, if there were more wrestlers like you, I wonder how the business behind the scenes would be, because you truly love this business, I can tell.
I love everything about it. Everything about it.
Randy,
You know, I just
Russell,
wish I could get back in the ring, and you never know.
You never know.
Russell Campbell says happy birthday.
Ah.
70's a big one.
Ah,
And Mach,
Thank
Todd
you so
Beecraft says, last Thursday was the anniversary of a Macho Man's death. This is a nice tribute to him. What would you say, Mach, if you had a chance, God let you to say a couple of words to Randy Savage? What would you say to him?
I would probably thank him for all the years of entertainment, and I would thank him for being so creative and so awesome that it now gave me something that I can do. Because if he wasn't as awesome as he is, then I wouldn't be able to do, you know, nobody would care about the impersonation. He stands out. When people think professional wrestling, man, they, you know, that's the guy, man. You know what I mean? And he's because of who he is, it's given me a way to do something really cool, meet some fans, make some money, and it feels good when you're doing something that you're really good at, because then you don't feel like, you know, they say if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And every time that I do this, whether I'm making money or I'm not making money, I love doing it. So I guess I would just say thank you, man. Thank you, and I'd probably just want to pick his brain is what I'd want to do, and find out how I could be even better. You know what I mean?
Did you ever get to see Savage wrestle in person? Did you ever get, you know, to at least, you know, come across him live at an event or something?
Yeah, I remember 1987, Madison Square Garden. It was my first time ever to the Garden, and my cousin took me for my what was it, my 13th birthday or something like that. And the main event was Honky Tonk Man versus Macho Man.
Ooh.
And Jimmy Hart was going to be suspended in a shark cage. He was going to be suspended above the ring.
Okay.
And when I saw that match, man, I ran down from my seat, I remember, and I ran from my seat down to the barricade to take a picture of Macho Man and Elizabeth walking up the ring steps.
Nice.
I have that picture, but I took a screenshot because it was televised on MSG Network. I took a screenshot of the TV, and you could see me taking that picture. You see me standing up on a chair. You see 13-year-old me standing on a chair, one of them old school, those cameras, that you wind the. Now I'm sounding ancient. But, yeah, man, I mean, that was, I believe that was the first time that I ever saw him actually, in the ring. And, man, let me tell you, there's something about Madison Square Garden. That was the first time I went there. I already knew I wanted to be a wrestler, but when I was at Madison Square Garden, man, that first time in the Garden is just like, not only do I need to wrestle, I need to wrestle in this building someday.
There you go.
That never happened, but something very special about Madison Square Garden. When you hear the boys say that, there's a magical feeling in that place, man, no matter what.
No doubt about it. Madison Square Garden is, after all, the home of WrestleMania. It'd be nice if they would bring one back instead of all these open giant stadiums nowadays. Could we go back to WrestleMania at the Garden? Let's say the Mega Powers.
All right, well, with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the Mega Powers, and they can answer that question right after this break.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right, folks. Canine Corral. For all your dog daycare and overnight care, call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Sport and non-sport cards, wrestling items, autographed items. We buy, sell, and trade. M&J Video Games and Collectibles, located at 1049 Queen Street, Southington, Connecticut. Call us at 1-860-479-9223 or 860-93-GAMES. M&J Video Games and Collectibles.
Jimmy, I got to take a dump. What? No, I mean I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestler and broadcast, Monty DeFaro, only seen here out of Indie Music TV from Long Island, New York. We're welcoming our special guest, pro wrestling superstar, Mega Powers, Randy Hogan, and Macho Man.
All right, guys, let's get back to it. I was just mentioning WrestleMania, of course, being its origin being Madison Square Garden. But you know what? Let's switch it a little bit. I wanted to ask you guys, why do you guys think that there is no longer these fantastic characters such as Macho Man, such as Hulk Hogan? What's going on with the business today that there doesn't seem to be another great, larger-than-life star that even the non-wrestling fan seems to know who it is? Because it's certainly not Orange Cassidy from AEW. I'll tell you that, right, Mike?
That's for sure.
What do you think's going on with wrestling today? Randy, why don't you take it first? And I know you love the business very much, and you probably still watch a few companies, from what I understand about you. But what do you think is missing in this business that we don't have a Macho or a Hulkster?
Well, you hit it. We don't have a Macho or a Hulkster. You know, my wife, she's never been a fan. We've been married 10 years now, and her only involvement in wrestling has been through me. So she'll watch it on TV, but not really a fan. But she said, what happened to some of the characters? Like you mentioned, Hogan, Macho. Now here's like a mid-card type fan, okay, that's asking the same questions that we are. What happened?
Right.
I heard, and I'm not sure it's true, but it makes sense that Vince McMahon, since all of his stars started jumping ship, when they were going back and forth, WCW and stuff, whether it be Bret Hart or Hogan and Macho, the whole bunch of them, he said, no longer am I going to put my company wrapped around one star.
Right.
Because, Hogan was the star, and Bruno Sammartino was that star, and Ric Flair one time was that star.
Austin.
He's going to build the company rather than the individuals. So I think the emphasis has gone away from building those superstar, standout characters. I don't know why, because that went the wayside, I think, with the old school storylines and stuff, when there was long going feuds and that. There's not going to be another Undertaker or a Hogan or guys like this. I don't know what's going on with the Fiend. Now I thought, now there's a character. There's something to get built, kind of like Kevin Sullivan when he started switching over to doing the Lucifer thing and the chewing the beetle nut with the Buddha Dean on the seventh floor of the temple or whatever that. Those were characters that drew people. Now everything's cookie cutter. The matches are all cookie cutter. There's just no individuality, so there are no superstars. Now even the little guys are making $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year now. Unheard of back then. But as far as the main superstars on the horizon, I don't see any of them. I see them just chewing them up and spitting them out. That's what they do. Look what they started to do at one time with Ricochet, okay, little guy. Like what they did with Rey Mysterio. Another little guy. They built him up. He beat the Giant. He had the title and everything else, and now they're doing absolutely nothing. On and on. Sheamus the same way. He's almost being a character now, and he was a heavyweight champion. So they just give him a little shot, and for whatever the reason, they spit him out. And now, of course, Roman Reigns is the big thing, and we'll see what happens there.
Macho, how
But
about you, Macho? How about a guy like Kevin Owens, who my partner all the time says he looks like my mailman? Now I love Kevin Owens, but what do you think might be missing in today's product to bring back the charismatic, over the top household names that we had, such as Macho and Hulkster?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head the minute you mentioned Kevin Owens, man. That is one guy that I don't even know where to begin, man. It's very frustrating to see a guy that's out of shape with a farmer's tan and buys his wrestling gear at Walmart. He's wearing
God.
gym shorts and a t-shirt.
He's killing him.
He looks like seriously, he would look. Okay, you put him in an airport. You put him out in any, he looks like he belongs in the 10th row rather than in the ring. Okay? There's a reason why they used to be called, or they still are for whatever reason, but they were superstars. Okay? You could call somebody a superstar that looks like The Undertaker. You know what I mean? Triple H. I mean, they had it, whether it was the size, and I just think that they don't make guys that big anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't see guys that are like 7 feet tall anywhere. It's almost like, they're out of production. I don't know, man, what happened to the human.
There's a shortage on monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you have one, every once in a while you got a Braun Strowman.
Right.
Every once in a while you have a big Cass, and I know that there was issues or whatever like that, but when you got a guy that's 7 feet tall, you make him a big star, and because those are they're rare now, man. Really rare. Most of the guys look like Kevin Owens, and if you don't look like a superstar, you shouldn't be called one. Okay, and Kevin Owens is the best example of that, because he really, everything from the ring gear to I don't even like the way he wrestles, and I don't like his promo style. People I don't know what's happened to the fans.
Wow.
That the fans are actually saying, wow, he cuts a good promo. It's like, hey, do you guys know a guy by the name of The Rock?
Well.
You guys know a guy by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin? You're saying that this guy is good at doing promos and he's good in the ring. What have you been watching? So, and that goes for, man, you guys got me off on this is going to be bad, man. But, all of those guys, man, you tell me how many guys on that roster look like somebody that if you were out anywhere, that you would do a double take and go, holy shit, that's got to be, he ain't no 9-to-5 worker, And you look at Kevin Owens, and you can't help but think like you could put him behind the counter at a Walmart, and nobody would ever think it's out of place. You know what I mean? And the same thing, same thing goes for guys like Finn Balor. You know, he's a good wrestler. He's been around the indies forever and this and that. I don't care. You don't look. There's nothing about you. Like, I like that whole, you know, it was different. The original, you know, it was original with the whole, like, spray paint gimmick that he had and everything.
Demon.
But when you look at the guy, there's nothing. I mean, okay, here's a perfect example, all right? I went to Walmart the other day, and I went down the toy aisle. I always like to see whenever I do my grocery shopping there, but I always go down the aisle where the WWE figures are because I'm a big kid at heart, and I just like to see who they have, you know? And I'm looking at the figures, and the figures look like they're not famous people. You know, it's not like you see a figure of Kane, and you're like, that's character. Right, you see a figure of Kevin Owens or you know, anybody. I don't even know all the names. I don't know a lot of the names because they just don't have anything that I don't watch because there's nothing to make me tune in. And when the action figures look like ordinary guys, it's just like it's wrong. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's
So
just
Sami Zayn doesn't exactly do it for you either. Then I would have to assume.
That's another one.
There we go.
That's another one.
We don't
I
want to
mean,
get him to his
you know,
boiling point. We don't want to make.
How about
God,
Marco's? How about Marco's stunt, Mach
come
and
on.
Randy?
Come on.
Marco's stunt. I mean, that's getting
I
out of
don't even know
control.
who that is.
Exactly.
Wow.
You don't want to know who it
You're
is.
glad- You would
I
freak
don't know.
out. You would freak out, Mach. You'd freak out. Randy, how about you with Marco Stunt or some of these other guys? Any take on the guy who may look like the guy who dropped your milk off this morning at the stair at the front of the house?
It's. I hate to sound like an old school guy, okay? Because I appreciate the athleticism that these guys have nowadays, okay?
Sure,
We talk about bodies of Kevin Owens and that, and man, I am totally on board with that. Totally on board with it. But back in my day, you saw a lot of that. I mean, Dusty Rhodes wasn't necessarily muscled up, okay? Or Ron Bass or any of the other guys like that.
Sure.
But now the women are all fitness models, okay, and they do a lot of gymnastic stuff in that. But I just miss some of the old wrestling. I know mat wrestling is boring to the new crowd because they want to see the glitz and the glamour, and they want to see all the monkey spots, you know, going through tables and everything else, and kicking out of everybody's finisher at 2 if there are any finishers anymore. It just. It's almost an embarrassment, some of the guys, because there's a lot of indie guys out there, and Macho tell you, that are sitting in the wings just waiting for a chance or an opportunity that deserve it, and
But Randy,
whether it be politics or whatever else, they never get it.
Randy, I'd like to disagree with you on this. I would rather see Mandy Rose wrestle than Leilani Kai. I'm sorry. You can't
yeah,
convince
we'll
me anything
agree there.
different on that one.
Yep.
I know.
It's a lot easier. Wait a minute. What about Velvet
Man,
McIntyre's
I can't
toes?
answer that. I can't even answer that, brother.
Hey, Mach.
I know you're a Nyla Jax type of guy, right?
No, I am not. Don't you dare.
She's not like most girls.
She's not like most girls.
Oy.
Mach, is there an Elizabeth in Macho Man's life?
Oh.
Ooh, good question, man. I like that. Is there a Miss Elizabeth? No, but I am taking applications.
Nice.
I wish, man. I wish I could find somebody as classy and as beautiful. And the thing is that I live in Las Vegas, you know what I'm saying? And there ain't too many, people in Las Vegas ain't gonna like what I'm saying. There ain't too many classy, beautiful women. If they're beautiful, they're either stripping or escorts, or they perform in some kind of a show that's, like an honest show. But then they got that mentality that they're superstars.
Oh boy.
You know,
Oh
Vegas
boy.
is the worst place, man. If you want to be in a relationship, Vegas, you don't want to move here, man. It's like it's cursed. For
Now wait a
relationships.
minute, Macho. I lived in Hollywood for a while, and I was amazed at
Yeah.
the delusionary state of people. Are you telling me that that's what Vegas is also like?
Let me tell you something,
Wow,
brother. I
man.
lived in Las Vegas. I lived in Burbank. I
Okay.
lived there for a while.
Okay.
Same thing, man. I had a girlfriend at the time, and let me put it this way: she was more of a character than I am. You know what I mean? She had this
Sure.
like it was almost like she had a gimmick, and I loved the gimmick that she was portraying. But that wasn't really her, as I found out later on. I'm finding out all these things. But if she was as special as the person that she was making everybody believe she was, I'd be in heaven. You know what I mean?
Instead of being
yeah,
really
man.
hot down here in the basement, right?
All right, here's one for you, Mach. How often do women just want to have sex with you so they could say they had sex with Macho Man Randy Savage?
What?
Not often enough.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of times they'll know who it is. You know who I am, who I'm portraying. Because it's like everybody knows Macho Man. I've gone out like this in public, just running errands and stuff like that, and there's not anybody who doesn't react to it.
Sure.
There's not anybody who who says "ooh yeah" or Slim Jim or something, and even girls. I mean, you'll hear the same thing from girls. Oh, when I was a kid, I used to watch wrestling with my dad. I know who you are. But I don't know necessarily if there's any, or at least I haven't met any that, see me in gimmick like this and say, oh, he's hot. I remember Macho Man, and I always had a crush on him, or it's not like I'm, Brad Pitt or something. I don't know why everybody uses that example, but. Or in wrestling terms, Shawn Michaels when he was the Heartbreak Kid, man, I think any chick that knew wrestling would have wanted to sleep with him. You know what I mean? But I don't think anybody was ever looking at Macho Man as like a sex symbol.
Right.
You might be right.
Right.
Maybe,
you know what?
They liked
Not to make
my
it
hair.
Not to make it a twofer, but I'm not sure that Hogan was exactly considered a sexual thing either.
Well, so we've realized now that Hogan and Macho Man are not
Eye candy.
sexual eye candy. Yes. Okay, understood.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do, brother?
What you gonna do,
let me tell you
man?
one thing. When I first started out, I wrestled just a little indie show with Rocky Johnson. And we were just talking trash in the locker room stuff. And we were talking about payoffs because at this time I think I was making maybe $20, $25 a night. And he said, that's every young guy's dream. 6-pack, a ring rat, and a $25 payoff.
There you go.
And a hot dog.
And a hot dog.
That was it. And a hot dog. But yeah, 6-pack and a ring rat, and that was it.
There you go. Randy, can you tell us what your favorite match all time is?
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time. Pick one match for me that you just...
Wow.
I know.
Pick an old one and a new one. Old school one was Dick the Bruiser against the Sheik.
Okay.
Absolutely wonderful.
Okay.
A little bit newer. I was really a fan of Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat.
All right.
They had some really good, solid wrestling matches that I really enjoyed.
Sure, they had the trilogy.
Randy, how about one of the matches you were in, Randy? How about one of those? What's your favorite match that you were actually in?
Oh man. Well, the ones I got the most notoriety out of was, of course, me and Vader, and me and Abdullah the Butcher. And I really enjoyed working with Sting. Sting was one of the guys that he would give you a couple of spots. These other guys, they just didn't have a whole lot of respect for you at the time. But I had a lot of indie shows that I really, really enjoyed coming up, guys that didn't necessarily get on TV or anything. But again, we talked about the talent that's out there, indie workers that just never get the chance. And I was up there with a guy, Buddy Valentine, who we went all over Florida, a feud for almost a year. Again, great worker. He's went as one of the Valentines, but that was it. But I guess the matches I will always remember is Abdullah, and especially Vader, because that was my roughest match. And
I was going to say, how did you survive that?
I'm paying the price today. Let me tell you, you don't feel it as much back then. When you're in your 20s or 30s or even 40s in my case. But now everything starts falling apart, the heart starts going a little bit, and then you have the knees replaced. And this past year I had my ankle replaced, and I got some neck surgery coming up, and it's all from stupid stuff I did. But man, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Hey, Mach, we've had Lanny Poffo in the studio quite a few times. Good friend of the show. Do you have any sort of relationship with Lanny? And if so, has he thanked you for keeping his brother's memory alive?
I have spoken to him through email. I introduced myself, who I am, and I mentioned to him that I would like to do something with him, do an appearance together at an indie show, or I just thought that it would be good money for the both of us, and I thought that it would just be, something that fans would enjoy, because, they've never seen that. You know what I mean? Except for like the Jay Lethal stuff that he was they did an appearance together at TNA, if I'm not mistaken. But I even said to him, he told me that he's not doing much traveling these days, and he's just kind of like laying low. And he says that he does do some stand-up comedy in Florida when he was living there at the time. And I was just like, man, I'll fly out there, man, just to do something with you, man. I'll come out. We could do a skit together, man. You know what I mean? Just you do your thing, but at some point during the show, I'll come out. We could do a little banter back and forth, and it's just I just wanted to be able to work, with him, just because I thought, it would be great for me. You know what I mean? As a huge fan of Macho Man, I was a huge fan of the Genius too, man. I really liked that gimmick. But I just thought, that would be great on the to check off the bucket list. It would be a great goal to accomplish. And I actually asked him if we can, because I figured that he had the rights to, Macho Man's estate. So certain things you'd have to get permission, and I asked him about, hey, would you mind if I did this or that or whatever? I wrote to the people, I forget the name of whoever the company is that puts out Slim Jims, and I actually wrote them an email saying, because they started using Macho Man again, not in the commercials, but for their packaging and stuff. They got this new Savage Slim Jim. It's a bigger Slim Jim. And I was like, hey, man, if they want to start doing commercials again, if I could get the okay by Lanny to do the same old school commercials, and he told me that it's not up to him. Randy's widow,
Mm-hmm.
she's in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't contact her, and he was like, don't even try to, because she's like in a bad place, and she doesn't talk to anybody about any of that stuff. So
Understood.
yeah. But I think if it was up to him, I think he would be all right with it, man, because, he never put me over himself, you know what I mean? But I hear from people that he's put me over to them, and he was nice to me. He was cool with me, but he never, like, really mentioned anything about, what he thought of what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's got a hot girlfriend in Ecuador right now, so I think he's probably not paying attention. Yeah, he's moved to Ecuador.
Yeah,
so.
he's in Ecuador.
Yeah, hanging out.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't see that he's got a
little hottie with him. Yeah.
And go Lanny.
Yeah, there you go. With his legendary jump rope, but we won't get into the size of his legendary jump rope. Anyway.
Maybe that'll explain it.
Oh, yeah, he's a poet and he knows it. Guys, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Can I ask you both, what can we look forward to as far as seeing you guys in the future? Mr. Hogan, take it away first. Where can the fans look to be seeing you?
Oh, man, let's see. Next weekend, 12th and 13th, I'll be in Jacksonville, Florida at the River City Wrestle Fest. Followed 2 weeks after that with your buddy Eric Sims, ESS, Boardwalk Buds in Atlantic City. I'll be there with Shiki, Brett Azar, and Val Venus. August, I'm going to be at a show up in New York at the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame inaugural ball, I guess. And I'll be doing some color commentary at the matches that night. So So that's the next few months coming up, and then some other things later in the year.
Randy, where else can the fans find you? You have your own Facebook or other options on the internet, Randy?
Facebook, that's the easiest way to get me. If you're looking for Randy Hogan stuff, just go to Facebook and look under Randy Hogan stuff, and you'll see everything. You'll see the podcast, you'll see my merchandise, you'll see where I'm going to be and everything else. So that's the place.
Awesome. And Mach, how about you? What can we where can we look forward to seeing you in the future, and where can fans find you on the internet on a regular basis?
Well, as of right now, man, because of the COVID thing and everything, man, nobody's really knocking on my door. So right now, all I'm doing, I'm doing a lot of cameo videos. I'm doing a lot of, self-promotion, just trying to get my name out there, trying to become a social media, trying to become a social media buzz, you know what I mean? And kind of, so that I can get booked more and I can do more, weddings, and I can do, things for the fans, in person rather than, through the video scope. Video scope, you like that?
I love it.
Excellent.
So, guys, we usually end this with the Pharaoh's final question, but I think we're going to take a little twist here. So I'm asking you each. Randy Hogan, I want you to ask Mach any question you want, and Mach, I want you to ask Randy Hogan any question you want.
Oh, wow. This is different.
We could start with Randy. Go ahead, buddy.
What do you got for Mach, Randy?
Mach, I gotta know, brother. I gotta know, what do you think about Mega Power 2.0, baby? Somebody's gonna be smart enough to put this together out there. What do you think? Are you with me? Are we gonna have Retromaniacs, Macho Maniacs running wild all over the world, all over the stratosphere? Again, brother, what you gonna do?
You talking about doing continuous back-to-back appearances everywhere around the world?
All over the stratosphere, brother.
I got one way to answer that. One way to answer that. Shake my hand.
I got you, brother. I got you, brother. Yeah.
We have history
Yeah.
going on here, Vince. History.
If you're out there and you're booking events, man, you better do the thing. Yeah. Because you're missing out if you don't. Yeah.
All right,
We'll
Mach.
be listening, brother.
Mach, what do you
We
got?
will be listening.
What do you got for Randy, Mach?
Ooh, great. Well, you said that your birthday is next week and you're going to be the big 7-0. And I know your body's beat up because I wasn't around as much as you during my wrestling career, but I got injuries that don't allow me to wrestle. And believe me, I want that one more match. I have it all set in my head of, who I wanted to be with and where I wanted to be. And I got all this, ideas about the match and everything. The only problem is I got spinal stenosis and I can't do any of it. So my question to you is, man, do you really see you wrestling again in the future, even if it is just one more match? And if it is one more match, who is it going to be and where? If you have it all, planned out in your head.
Will there be one more match? Let me tell you, brother, in my head, in my mind, there's a lot of more matches. But like you said, and I got the stenosis stuff going on too, so chances are, unless somebody wheels me up there in a wheelchair, and again, this macho man guy, I know he can't get in there and do a whole lot. I can't do a whole lot either, brother. But let me tell you, we could blow the roof off that place. Just walk into the aisle. We could do it. So my appearance match, one more match, would want to be with you, brother.
Ooh, yeah. You talk about the mega powers exploding. I'd like that too. I think we could do it, man. We could just work around. We could work around both of our injuries and just kind of have the most boring match in the world.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I would do it, man. I would do it almost like making fun of
All
ourselves.
we got to do is style and profile, brother. That's all we got to do. Style it and profile it.
Whoever's out there listening, if you're a promoter be the first one to jump on that and book us because somebody's going to do it. It might as well be you. I'm telling you right now.
I have a
If you book
I have a
that-
strange
Well said,
I have
well
a strange feeling that Monty and Pharaoh may be bringing up the Mega Powers early fall coming up.
I'm
So
ready to get a hammer and start building a ring.
That's
are you
what I'm
talking
thinking.
about? Let's build the ring.
guys,
right
I
here.
want to thank you for joining Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. What an honor that both of you took the time out to join this show. We thank you very much. The fans loved it. You both were very entertaining. Thank you for answering the questions. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I am truly honored to be with you guys again. Much it's my pleasure talking to you too, brother. And we are going
You too,
to see
man.
it again real soon, you and I.
That's right. We're finally going to do it, man. You and me. Be a man, Hogan. Yeah.
Be a man.
Be a man.
We'll talk to you guys soon. God
Thanks,
bless.
guys. Dig it.
Right. Thank you.
So, Jimmy, what'd you think?
That was awesome. I had a ball with them. Great
How
job, Matty Ice.
Great job, Matt. Way to go, brother.
Great job.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep, they're both wonderful.
How
great
how
impression.
fun was that?
That was fantastic, man.
First of all, I have a soft spot for Randy Hogan. Always
course.
have.
He's
The
a
guy
great
is a
guy.
great guy.
Yeah.
Always love talking to him. He's a
Yeah.
great human being.
Yeah.
And great job.
Yeah.
So coming up next Thursday, it's you and me. Mm-hmm. I want to let the fans. It's just me and the Pharaoh. Will be bringing back head to head,
Oh, we are.
and in honor
Nice.
of the Ultimate Warrior,
Oh.
the head to head matchup. So I want you to get your
What?
thinking
We didn't
caps
talk
on.
about this yet. What
Will
are you
be
springing on me?
Ultimate Warrior,
Against who?
Sting.
I like that.
You
Of
like
course
it?
They connected back in the early. Yeah, that's cool. Wow, that's interesting.
And then Saturday at 5 p.m., we have WWF former tag team champion Jules Strongbow in studio.
Wow.
That's at 5 p.m.,
one half of him and Chief Jay.
which is,
Strongbow.
for us,
Boy, oh
I think
boy.
that's a real fun.
That was great.
Fun
time
interview.
Period. Great time period for us.
And then on June 10th, in a very rare interview at 9 p.m.,
Mm-hmm.
never comes to town. The Tonga Kid will be live in studio.
Nice catch, man.
Dude,
Nice
Tonga
catch.
Kid, bro.
I love these guests. These Tonga Kid guests. This is great.
I think
Nice
I'm
catch.
very, very excited for it.
Yep.
Then on June 17th, we have the
Okay.
author of the book The Job Man, Mr. Chris Maltier,
Sweet.
will be joining. Now, Chris was wrestled in the AWA.
Mm-hmm.
He called himself the Job Man because he was a jobber, and he's got a lot to say about other enhancement talent. So I think it should be really
he's pretty
fun.
proud of his craft, that's for sure. Go on.
And then on June 19th at 10 a.m., that's a Saturday. I put 10 p.m., but maybe I should change that.
10 p.m.
It's
I don't have to
10
get up early.
a.m.
10 I have to
We
get up
have Magnum
early.
TA, bro.
Wow.
What did Magnum mean to you, bro?
Magnum was just so big time. And then he was in his car accident. Magnum TA was top of the card. Magnum TA. When I think of Magnum TA, I think of fur coats with Dusty Rhodes. I mean,
Absolutely.
What are we talking here? Magnum TA.
Magnum TA.
Guy was on the verge of being world champ. Oh, it's a huge guest for us. It's going to be fantastic.
And then we have a special Monday show. Matt, we're pretty busy, bro. A Monday show on June 28th at 4 p.m. Baby Doll, which I think works well with the whole Magnum TA thing, right?
Yeah, it does. Yep.
So I'm
We're
very
right
excited
back in
for that.
Beautiful time period for wrestling, sure.
I personally want to thank Macho Man and Randy Hogan for joining us.
do, brother?
Real quick question before we go.
Yeah,
A couple of people, because I think I put on the banner that they were, not impersonators, but like gimmicks, right?
Gimmicks.
And a couple of
okay.
people were offended because, both were real wrestlers.
Of course they
and-
were. Who
Right?
said they weren't?
No one said they weren't, right?
Okay. God, everybody's offended so fast. Go on.
Todd Belcraft says it's going to be a great head-to-head Ultimate Warrior. That's going to be excellent.
I'm already thinking about that contest.
Maria Davis, you guys rock. #1 wrestling podcast. Thank you.
Thank you,
Russell
Maria.
Campbell. Thanks, Monty and Jimmy. Real good laugh this show.
RC, thank you, sir.
At 112 says great stuff.
There we go. Thank you.
Look, we appreciate everybody coming in and just supporting us. It's incredible. Pharaoh, you want to send us out, big guy?
You've been watching Monty and the Pharaoh, and until next week, later.